Good morning, children. Welcome back to the Part 2 class, that is Reproduction in Organisms. Last class we have discussed about lifespan. What is lifespan? Lifespan is the period from birth to the natural death of an organism. What is that? It is the period from birth to the natural death of an organism. Next, we discussed about the reproduction. What is reproduction? It is the biological process in which an organism gives rise to young ones or the offsprings to its own kind. So it enables the reproduction enables the continuity of the species generation after generation. Next, we discussed about the types of reproduction. There are two types of reproduction is present. What is that? First one is asexual reproduction. Second is the sexual reproduction. Then we discussed about the asexual reproduction. What is asexual reproduction? Asexual reproduction is a type of reproduction in which the young ones or the progeny or the offsprings are produced from a single parent without the formation and fusion of the gametes. What is the meaning of gametes? Sex cells. So there is only one parent is involved, and without the fusion of the gametes, there is a new organism is formed. That is called asexual reproduction. Next, we discussed about what are the characters of the asexual reproduction. Then first point, uniparental. What is the meaning of that? Single parent is involved. Second point, formation and fusion of the gametes do not take place. That means there is no formation of the gametes. Next, somatic cells or body cells are involved in the asexual reproduction. Fourth point, asexual reproduction involves the production of different types of the asexual spores. What are the spores we discussed? Zoospores, conidia, etc. Fifth point, offsprings are genetically and morphologically similar to their parents. That point is very important. Offsprings are genetically and morphologically. What is the meaning of morphology? External characters, internal structure and the external characters. They are genetically and morphologically similar to their parents. The last point, sixth point, the rate of reproduction is faster. So these are the features we discussed in the asexual reproduction. Next, we discussed about the clones. So what is clone? Clone also type of asexual reproduction. In the clones, the individuals are morphologically and genetically similar to the parent. So it is called, so the clones are called asexual reproduction. Next, we discussed about the types of asexual reproduction. First, we discussed about the binary fission. What is the meaning of binary fission? The parental organism divides into two equal halves, and each half form one independent daughter organisms. Many examples are there: amoeba, paramecium, vorticella, planaria, euglena, etc. Next, we discussed about the second one, multiple fission. Also a form of asexual reproduction. In this process, the parental organism divides into many daughter cells, and each form becoming an independent daughter organism. Multiple fission in the amoeba, again it is there. Plasmodium. Another one important example is monocytes. Next, we discussed about the budding. Budding is also a form of asexual reproduction. in which a new individual is produced as an outgrowth of the parental organism, and it is held for some time. Later, it is released from the parental organism and they are forming a independent identical copy of the parent. Okay, that is called budding. From the parental organism, they are forming a bud-like structure. Any part of the organism, they are forming a bud-like structure, and slowly they are growing and they are forming an independent structure detached from the parental organism. That is, two examples are there, yeast and hydra. Now, next we discussed about the gemmules. So, what is a gemmule? See, the gemmules are present in the aquatic organ. Aquatic means water. In that first example we can take in the spongilla. These are present in the water. So, these spores are forming inside the organism. Once it is becoming mature, they will burst out and that small organisms will come out. So, gemmules, the spores are present inside the structure of the spongilla. Okay, see, listen here. Budding is outgrowth. Gemmules are the inside the growth it is present. Next, we discussed about the fragmentation. Fragmentation is also a type of asexual reproduction in which the parental body breaks into different fragments and each of the fragment develop into a new individual. Example, Spirogyra. Last year you studied these all the examples. Okay. Now next we discussed about zoospores and conidia. Zoospores are present in the sporangium. They are the motile structure, movement is there. So flagellated. Flagella is present, motile structure, and it is present inside the sporangium. So they are called endogenous. Example is Chlamydomonas. Then conidium, they do not have the flagella, so they are the flagella is the locomotory structure. So they are the non-motile spores formed at the tip of the conidiophores. In fungus it is present. So it is an outside structure. It is called the exogenous. Example is Penicillium, Aspergillus, etc. So these all are the types of asexual reproduction we discussed. Then we discussed about the multiple fission in amoeba. So in that multiple fission, amoeba is present in the different, anywhere it is there. It is in the unfavorable condition, means the surrounding is not suitable for them to grow or the survival. That time, during unfavorable condition, amoeba, it is withdraws its pseudopodia. What is the pseudopodia? They are the locomotory structure of the amoeba. It withdraws the pseudopodia and secretes hard covering around itself. This phenomenon is called encystation. Is it clear? During unfavorable condition, amoeba withdraws its pseudopodia and secretes the hard covering around itself of the amoeba. This phenomenon is called encystation because they are protecting the amoeba body. Then next we should discuss about the favorable condition. What is in favorable condition, this encysted amoeba divides by multiple fission and produces, divided into many daughter organisms and produces many minute small structures of the amoeba. So this wall bursts out and the spores are liberated into the surrounding medium, and each spore grow up into small amoebas. This phenomenon is known as the sporulation because amoebas are forming in a structure of the spores, different types of the spores, so that it is forming inside the structure as a spore-like structure, and each one is forming an amoeba. This is called sporulation. Here we have to notice multiple fission in amoeba, during unfavorable condition, encystation, during correlation in the favorable condition. Next, we discussed about what we discussed? Vegetative reproduction that is present only in the plants. So vegetative reproduction is also a type of asexual reproduction in plants. There the vegetative parts. What's the meaning of vegetative parts? Plant parts. Name of the plant parts: root, stem, leaf, and the different parts, any part, give rise to a new individual. So these somatic structures or the plant parts of the different parts involved in the vegetative propagation are called vegetative propagules. Any plant part, it is involved in the reproduction, that particular part is called vegetative propagules. Okay. Now some examples we discussed, that all the examples yesterday's class, last class we have discussed. Now next we discussed about the terror of Bengal. Name the plant which is called terror of Bengal. Water hyacinth. Water hyacinth is called terror of Bengal. Why it is called? This plant, it is reached from the West Bengal region. Seeing the color of the flower and the shape of the leaves attracted to the persons. But if it will grow once, it drains the oxygen. It have the long roots. It drains the oxygen and it leads to the death of the aquatic organisms. What all the organisms are present in the water, it is causing to the death of that organisms. Next, we discussed about the different types of the asexual reproduction. Means that I am going to give some of the examples of the type. You should tell. Can you tell that type of reproduction in the following ones? Okay. Hydra. Name of the reproduction. Don't tell me the asexual reproduction. The answer is budding. Hydra, budding. Second example. Chlamydomonas. Example. Chlamydomonas. Which type of reproduction is present? Zoospores. Okay. Next. In Penicillium, Conidium, banana plant. Which type of reproduction? Rhizome. That is a name of the asexual reproduction is rhizome. That is a vegetative part. Okay. Ginger. Ginger also another example of rhizome. That is also name of a asexual reproduction in the plants. Vegetative propagules. Next it is agave. The name of the asexual reproduction of the vegetative propagule is bulbils. Offset. Example, water hyacinth. Bryophyllum. Leaf buds. The tip regions of the leaf margins. New plantlets. What is the meaning of plantlet? Small plants are forming. That is called leaf buds are forming, and they are forming a new plant. Leaf buds. Next, potato. Eyes of the potato. You know that when the potato having the different parts, new organisms will form. It's a stem tuber. Then the spongilla. Gemmules. Gemmules are there. That is the inside the structure it is present. Okay. Next, we will discuss about the sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is a type of reproduction in which the offspring develops from the zygote, which is formed by the fusion of male and female gametes of the same individual or different individuals of the opposite sex. That means the offspring or the progeny or the young ones develops from the zygote after the fusion of the male and female gametes. The zygote is forming. That zygote is developed forming an offspring. It is from the male and female gametes. Sometimes it is present in the same individual or it may be in the different individuals. Different individuals means opposite sex. Male it is different, females it is different. Now, next we will discuss about the features of the characters of sexual reproduction. First point, it is biparental. Male parent is different, female parent is different. Male and female after the fusion forming the zygote. So the first point is two parents are involved. So it is the biparental or bisexual. Next, second point is formation and fusion of the gametes takes place. Gametes meaning sex cells. Here it is the fusion of the gametes and the formation of the gametes will take place. Third point, the young ones are not identical to the parents. Morphologically and genetically they are dissimilar to the parents. Next point, offsprings show variations due to genetic recombination. Male gamete is different, female gamete is different. And together they are forming after the fusion, the zygote shows the different characters. So they are different from the parents and also shows the very variety they will show. Next point, offsprings have better chance of survival. They are getting the, compared to the parental organism, the offsprings are shows the better chance of survival. Last point, rate of reproduction is slow. That means first they have to formation of the gametes, then the fusion of the gametes, after that the zygote will form. So that it will take time. Rate of reproduction is slow. Next, which mode of reproduction, that means sexual or asexual, is better? What you are feeling? See that one, answer is sexual reproduction is the better mode of reproduction because what is the reason? Because better offsprings are produced with genetic variations. Better choices are getting. These variations are enable the organisms to survive in unfavorable conditions or adapt to changing the environmental conditions. These parental organisms, how it is, better the offsprings. They can survive better conditions. Now next we will discuss about the differences between asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. The first point, asexual reproduction, uniparental. Sexual reproduction, it is a biparental. Two cells are there. Second point, somatic cells are involved in the asexual reproduction. Somatic cells means body cells. The parental body, from there the new organism is forming. Sexual reproduction, the somatic cells are not involved, the sex cells are involved. So we can call germ cells are involved. Third point, the asexual reproduction is the production of asexual spores they are producing, different types of the spores. But sexual reproduction, it involves the formation and the fusion of the gametes. Male and female gametes they are producing. Next point, fourth point is important. Offsprings are genetically and morphologically similar to their parents. But in the sexual reproduction, offsprings are genetically and morphologically dissimilar. They are not similar to their parents. Last point, the rate of reproduction is faster in the sexual reproduction. In the sexual reproduction, the rate of reproduction is slow. See the points of write the differences between asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Now next we will discuss the different stages in the life cycle of living organisms. Life cycle of living organisms. Now there are three types of plants are there. Annual plants, biennial plants and perennial plants. See, listen. Annual plant means, what is the meaning of that one? Their entire life cycle have to complete within 1 year, within one season or the 1 year. Biennial plants means they have to complete their life cycle within 2 years. Perennial plants means they have to complete their life cycle many years. So we will see that one, the different stages. First stage we can call it is the juvenile phase. Juvenile phase means it is a period of growth of an organism before they can reproduce sexually. See that one, juvenile phase means it is a period of growth of an organism before the maturity, before they reproduce. It is called vegetative phase in plants. In the animals it is juvenile phase. In the plants it is vegetative phase. Second, it is a reproductive phase. It is a period of growth of an organism after juvenile phase or the vegetative phase, during which the organism undergoes morphological and physiological changes to reach the sexual maturity and is capable of producing gametes. See that one, first phase is juvenile phase or vegetative phase. See, second phase is a reproductive phase. It is a period of growth of an organism after the juvenile phase, during which the organism undergoes morphological and physiological changes to reach sexual maturity and is capable of producing gametes. Juvenile phase or the vegetative phase is the young stage. Once they become mature, how we came to know them if they become mature? In the animals, they can produce the young ones. In the plants, they can produce the flowers. Then we came to know that is the beginning of the reproductive phase. It will continue. There is a particular period of time. Till that time, the reproductive phase will continue. See that one. In the juvenile phase or the vegetative phase, it is the growing time. There is a particular period of time is there. After that, reproductive phase. That also it will take a particular period of time. Then next we'll go for the last stage of the life cycle of living organism is the senescent phase or the old age. They are becoming aging. It is the end of the reproductive phase of an organism because they are slowing with their metabolic functions and it leads to the death of that organism. It is regulated by the different types of the hormones and the environmental factors. See here the different stages. First it is a juvenile phase or the vegetative phase. Second it is the reproductive phase. The third point is the senescent phase or the old age. Now we will take one examples of the plants. Plants, see that one. It is the beginning of the reproductive phase. We can see easily in the higher plants when they come to flower. In some plants where the flowering occurs more than once. Some plants, the flowering during the same month, year after year. Can you give one example of that one? Mayflower. Mayflower, that every month, May month, only that time the flower will come. That it is another one character. Some plants that flower throughout the year and some others show seasonal flowering. Can you give the example of that throughout the year? Rose plant. Every days the plant will give the flowers. but seasonal flowering only one particular time period of time they are giving the flowers. So the flowers different types. Some flowers they are giving only one particular month, some flowers they are giving throughout the year, some flowers seasonal flowering. Okay, these all are the different types of the flowering type. And some plants shows unusual flowering phenomenon. We can give an example of the bamboo species. This flower only once in their lifetime, generally after 50 to 100 years, produce large number of fruits and the plant will die. See that one, bamboo species, they can survive near to 100 years, but in between any time they will give the flowers and that plant will die off. Then you know that banana plant, that also only once in their lifetime they are giving the flower. Then next one example, another plant, Strobilanthus kundiana or Neelakurunchi, that flowers once in 12 years. This plant will flower during the month of September to October, and there is in the hill areas of the Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and it is attracted large number of tourists. Tourist people are attracted by this Neelakurunchi flower, Strobilanthus kundiana. This is every once in 12 years. Bamboo species once in their lifetime they are giving the flowers. See that word, these all flowers in their reproductive time showing the variations. Some are giving only one flower, some are giving 12 years, some are throughout the year, some are giving seasonal flowering, some are giving only the same month after every year. So these are the variations are there. So that are the, but whatever it is, reproductive phase they are showing their flowering time.